What's up, fam? Dante Levo here, and today I'm going to be doing a walkthrough of my track that I did with Kindred. It's called Again, and just a really quick thank you to everyone that's been listening. I've heard so many good things. A lot of you really love it and everything, so it just makes me happy that it's released and everything. And yeah, so let's get right into it. So this is the project. I have quite a bit in here. I have all my everything organized. So I have all my effects and they're right there. All my automations right here. I have the vocals right here, all the basses, and then all the instruments right here in the middle, and of course the drums and everything on top. So let me expand this so you're better able to see everything. And so yeah, I'll show you right off the bat the piano chords that I have here. There you go. So those are the piano chords, nice and easy. Hold on, let me, there you go. Better view. So I really love these chords. It was really nice to kind of come up with this. So it will be a little, it will sound a little different than like the finished product, and also some of the instruments and everything. None of it's leveled, so some stuff are gonna be really loud and some stuff is gonna be really soft. So I'll do my best to try to keep the level the same and everything. But yeah, those are the chords, and then I ended up making an atmosphere with like a vocal chop. So I'll show you that right now. Let me see if I can like the atmosphere. Let me shrink this so I can fit it onto the screen real quick. I'm sorry for the clicks and stuff like that again. So, but take off all the effects that we have going on. Yeah, so we can bring it up a little bit in the meantime. Makes absolutely no sense, right? Cool thing about this though, I use the Fruity Convolver, and I actually found this out from Skybreak and Chime. They use this a lot, and so ended up going to the presets. I do blur pink or blur white, either one. I think I did white with this one. Oh yeah, the white noise is right there. And then once you add the Convolver onto it, this is how it sounds. See if I can bring up the volume a little bit. Oh. Just so you have an idea. And it's my very own atmosphere, which is really cool, because sometimes you get tired of using all the sample packs and stuff like that. This is an easy way to make your own vocal stuff. Vocal atmospheres. I'll put it back to 0. And so there's the vocal atmosphere. I also made another one. I did the same thing, but with an ARP as well. But the only difference with this one is I actually have the chords on these is not random, so it actually has the arpeggio of the chords and stuff like that. So did that and did the same thing and added a Fruity Convolver and made my own atmosphere out from it as well. And then I have a pad here that I use almost like religiously with all my other tracks. It's an Anjuna pad that I made maybe like 4 years ago, and I've been using it ever since. I loved it because it's a little bit of in between of both, you know, it's got like that trance vibe, but then also it's just really soft enough where it's not too soft. I don't know how to explain it, but I just really love this pad, so I use it all the time. And then I use like a respace for like the bases to kind of give it a warm, that's why I call it a warm bass here, because it's just kind of gives it that warm feeling, because it kind of has like a movement to it. And so yeah, same thing, I just have it on the bass notes, really easy. What else? Okay, now we can move on to like the next section. I have like the drums are super easy, so see if I can play them all. Really basic, simple drums, right? Cool. And now this is also when the guitar kind of kicks in. And the guitar, I actually have it really simple because I use the acoustic guitar from Session Guitarist, Strummed Acoustic 2. That's what I use it. I use it on Britpop, which I just really liked. And then all I used, I think, was like the top notes or like the bass notes. I forget which one. I think it's also the bass notes. And yeah, this is how it sounds. Yeah, cool, right? So that's the guitar. Like I said, I have my atmospheres, my pads, and then when you kind of add that all together, you get. Actually, let me get rid of the vocals in the moment. Bring it back down. I forgot I had it that high. Cool. So not only so that's also when the guitar kind of kicks off, and now the next section is my next best thing that I like to use all the time is the Vocalise, which is also another Contact library that I use. Vocalise 2. I love this thing so much. I use it all the time as well because I love all that euphoric like church stuff, I guess that you want to call it. But yeah, look, super cool. So peaceful, so euphoric. Like I love this. So yeah, that's Vocalise for you. So I have that going on. I also have these strings that I use almost all the time as well, which is Spitfire Audio, and they have like I have so many different libraries from them, but I use the strings and I use the long, and these strings are freaking awesome because they sound so realistic and just so just nice, you know. It sounds crisp. So the same thing, just following along with the chords. So there's that, and then this is also the next section where I did the same with both the piano and my plucks. So I'll go with the piano first. Kind of did like an arpeggio thing going on here. So really easy, simple stuff. Now the plucks did the exact same thing, but obviously it's kind of more of a layer. So yeah, there's that. And then these are the plucks I've used like forever. I kind of recreated the 7 lines Sven pluck, and I've been using it like ever since. I've had Massive for like many years. So I've been using, literally that's the only thing I use on Massive, just for the plucks. Everything else, most of the time I use Serum and Silent. So if I could actually recreate that in one of those two, I'd end up just getting rid of Massive, but it's still good to have it anyways. But that's the plucks right there. I have the pads. I ended up another atmosphere, something a little different as well, because my whole thing about this was just to keep changing the atmosphere. And oh, hold on. Oop. Just kind of give it a different feel on top of like the euphoric. This is more like what's the word? Like you're on a journey, like you're just like on a path. I don't know. That's kind of the way I can explain it, I guess. But I just really like this atmosphere. See if I can turn it up a little bit. It's cool because it's got some things moving in there, and it's not just like static and stuff like that like I have my other stuff, which is why I added this one. And let me put it back. So there's that. So I added the atmosphere, and yeah, and then I added this these drums on there that I've used some of my other tracks, but I've got these from William Black's, I think it was Remedy, that track. So I ended up using the same drums. Yeah, that's what's always good, to keep your stems from the remixes, and you can end up using them in your other tracks. So there's that. And then yeah, and then I ended up just adding a war horn when it starts building up. Let me add a little bit more. Yep, really simple stuff. And let me turn out the vocals again. And see, you can hear the strings doing their thing, the plucks doing their thing. And you can see that I'm repeating some of the stuff and kind of having it build. All right, now let's get to the drop real quick. Now with the drop, it is a little different because I have like multiple drops in this track. For this one, I decided to go for like a more mid-tempo type of drop, but I still wanted it to sound melodic in some way. So that's why I ended up using some of these basses. Let me see if I can reset this real quick. Yeah, a lot of this stuff, from what I've learned, is not necessarily random, but it is random to some extent, because it just kind of works that way. I don't know why. At least for me it did. Or maybe it's just a happy accident. But yeah, so I ended up using these, and I just want to make sure that they kind of like went into each other some way, and they did. So that's like the mid-tempo stuff that I got going on. And then as for the saws and stuff like that, it was very simple as well. Simple saws. I think I have like 2 or 3. Yeah, 2 saws, just because I didn't want them to be overbearing or anything. So I just have 2. Yeah, I use one from Silent. Same thing. This is a hyper saw that I ended up making myself. Yeah, so I have that going on, and then I have like a the trancey pluck also going on here. But see if I can go. And so that's how I have it going on. See, like right here. Yeah, and then I have some background noise on there that I use from like Virtual Riot. And then of course I have some my other basses. Let me try to. So yeah, I have multiple basses going on here. I think I only kept a couple of them because I have them turned off. And yeah, so I have my usual basses that I use for most of my tracks. This is a Zon bass, and I'll see if I can solo it. Oops. Yeah, that's how it sounds. And the next one. Same thing, a little different, I believe. Yeah, it's more of a saw bass. And then, of course, a sub. And they sound pretty good together, so I kept it. And then, again, I wanted it to kind of go in and out from the melodic to like the mid-tempo, so they go all together. And then, of course, I use some of the growls that I got from Blank from his Patreon and stuff like that, which is really cool. Like, just cool. I didn't use the whole thing. I just what I needed, and then it working. I'm right back into it. So now, actually, I'm gonna turn off the vocals here. And now I have like this loop from company that I used. And since I wanted it to kind of be in the background, I wanted it to I kind of put a reverb on it, so that it's kind of more in the background, kind of give it like a preview of what's coming. And then I have some stabs, but it's also like filtering in there. At least they're supposed to be filtering, going down, which they are. Right there, you go.
Switch.
Of course, you gotta have the switch in there.
Switch.
And then that's when we're back into the dubstep. So that's why we got. So I ended up messing around with that loop, and then I ended up making like my own bass to go along with it. See if I can. So I ended up adding some of my stuff in there. This is like a Moon Boy, like holy bass that I ended up using. And I ended up like, I always make adjustments, stuff like that, so it's not just straight a preset. But yeah, that's. And when you add the loops and stuff like that. and then a couple other ones that I use. Yeah, so that's like the basses and stuff like that. Same thing, I have an effects going on there. Kind of a background stuff. And then same thing with this other one. All together with those two. And then yeah, all together. Of course, I have the saws and the other basses, and of course, like that trancy pluck coming in and out. I'll have it here filtering in, so it's not so sudden. So yeah, that's the dubstep part, and then of course, right back into the break. It's pretty much the same thing. Pretty much almost copy paste it for a couple of things, but yeah, and then I kind of decided to do more of a melodic dubstep on that second half of the track. So my buildup is a little different, but pretty much the same. Yeah, what I added was some chord plucks that I use also all the time. And it sounds like this. And then what I do is when it builds up, I open up the cutoff. So then, yeah, see, like that. So that's what I do on this build up. And then I'm having it open up with the cutoff, but also filtering it out as well. Yeah, excuse my CPU, but yeah. So I'll come right in with the fake drop. And I kind of wanted it to have like a drummer feel, so that's why I have like these drums kind of feel more like a drummer hitting. Yeah, the melodic stuff is actually pretty simple. So this time, instead of the two, I ended up using 3 saws. The third one, let me see what the other one was. Okay, so yeah, the legit JP. It's a 7 Skies preset. It's really cool. I use these quite honestly like most of the time. I you know, shift through certain saws depending on the track. But I use those all the time, and it's the same thing. So I have the melodic stabs, the little, just kind of going in the background. And then of course, again, the plucks. But then the only difference is I did want it to have like a fast bass type of thing on the second part. So that's why I just kind of chopped up the basses a little bit. Trying to give it that choppiness. So then after the fake drop, just have it building up again, and then same thing, right back into it, but with no. So with this last part, with this last build up, I wanted it to just kind of be super simple. So what I wanted was to kind of still give the first half that feeling from like the first half of the song with the hard, you know, growls and stuff like that, which is why I kind of have them here. And then the second half of this second drop, or second half of the song, I wanted it to just be very simple, no growls, no nothing, like as if we're coming to an end, but it's peaceful. And so that's why I ended up having like that. So yeah, and the drums weren't that much different from like the first half. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the first half was very simple in regards to the drums. So I'll show you the drums. I just get the ones that I need. Yeah. Basic, drum step. Hello, dubstep drums. And then of course I have a couple reverse kicks or like stomps. I kind of take off a little bit of the transient, so it kind of whoops in there. Yep. So there's that, and I'll show you the second half. Again, super simple drums. This one has a little bit more of a faster hi-hat loop in there. Yep. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much again. So again, let me know if you have questions or anything like that. Let me know. I mean, I don't know if you really want to know much about the effects, but if you do, I'll show you as well, and my choices of automation as well. You can see that. Oh, I almost forgot the actual vocal. So yeah, here's Kindred's vocals without here, forgot to have it off. This is all without any processing. So
could you stay a little longer? Even if it hurts that we're moments from goodbye. Could you come a little closer? Just so we can.
Yeah, amazing vocals. Like, she did an amazing job on this. And so yeah, that's without, and I don't have any processing in this because I did a lot of the processing in a separate session. And yeah, but for this song, I ended up having a friend mix and master it, but I already did a lot of the work with the vocal, so I ended up sending him the already processed vocal, so a little less work for him. And yeah, so I mean, I could show you how I would normally do the vocal processing for this, but usually, let me see if I can do it real quick. Let me move some of this stuff around. So normally I already have processing things that I've learned from Blank, again from his Patreon, and I already have like a whole rack that I use for myself. And so yeah, that's the part one. Part two, I'll show you. And I pretty much do this with like all my vocals, every single vocal that I get. I'll process them myself. I don't do any of the comping, or I don't do any of the Melodyne stuff, which I honestly should learn at least. But I do use a vocal writer, so I use this just to make sure everything is leveled and that there aren't any parts of the track that is overly loud, like with some certain semblance, so certain words that they're saying super loud compared to like the rest of the track. So that's why I do use vocal writer, but you don't have to use this all the time, because now that FL we've gotten the update that you can kind of cut. See if I let me show you. So I can cut and I can change the volume of that section, which is really cool, because before we weren't able to do that, because I mean, at least for me, because we'd have to use like a fruity balance or something, some automation. But now that we can do that, it's a game changer. So now with vocals, there's certain sections that I can kind of cut and just kind of bring down just to have it match. And so yeah, that's for the vocal writer. But if you want, you can just chop them up and then adjust the volume for those, so you don't have to do that. And then of course I use an auto tune just to kind of, but I use it kind of light. Here I have it, it's kind of almost default settings. I don't do much because usually it'll just kind of peak around here, because most of the time they've already do all the pitch correction and stuff like that. But if they don't, I use like the auto tune. And then simple, I use again a Pro Q3. I take some of the low end, because just depending on the artist or the vocalist, because some of them have a more bassier voice, and so I take a little bit off here and there, and then I just make sure it doesn't go below the 110 120 hertz. And and then I use this compressor, the CLA2A. And what I like to do with this specific compressor is I just like to catch the peaks. So I'm maybe not even going above the one, like it might go a little bit, but I try to make sure that it just kind of catches the peaks at like the one that's only reducing like 1 dB. And then when I do the hard compression, that's when I use this, and I'm pushing usually like -5, -7, depending on the vocal, but that's kind of like somewhat the sweet spot. And then I use a fruity balance for certain sections where the vocals need to be quieter or louder. Again, that's can be easily done now with like the update, that you can just chop it and just raise the level of that section. So technically you don't really need that, but again, I already have this set in stone. And then of course I just use more compression, some OTT, and then just try to keep things leveled in the middle and the highs. The lows not too much, because again, you don't have to worry too much about that. I do use a decapitator for some saturation. Let me see if I can bring it over here. There you go. So I use decapitator, and then I kind of cycle through some of the styles and stuff like that. And depending on what I like, depending on the style, I'll keep that, and I probably won't go over 2 depending, but I just adjust it just to, give it a little bit of that saturation. And then if it's too high, I'll make the cut here. And yeah, just add that saturation, that grit to it. And then I kind of put it all in a bus compressor. And yeah, I do usually 30 or 10. Usually it's on 1. And then just kind of glue everything together. And then sometimes I'll use Nectar just to see if I'm missing anything, if I need to cut anything. I let the voice assistant do it. And yeah, and then now it's for the next part, I use a de-esser, and then depending on the range of the vocalist, I use that, and then I just kind of bring down maybe like 3 or 4 dB of that harsh frequencies and stuff like that. So it's not like with the T's and the S's, like I'm doing now. So I'll just kind of bring it down, just kind of level it, make sure it's not too high. And then Echo Boy, what I use this for is to kind of give it like that extra. Let's see if I can bring it over. There you go. Just to kind of give it that like extra layer per se, because I do have it on 1/32, so it's like a really short echo, but it kind of gives it that extra layer on the vocal. And then of course I use Pro QR for the reverb. I use like their preset that they have, the vocal hall bright, and then I have it at 3 seconds, and then the space is 4,000 milliseconds, and then I only use 13% of the actual wetness. This is more to give it that I want to say space, to kind of have it, because what I do sometimes, or you could also do sometimes, is you can throw a send on there and send your track to another channel, and then like I have here, these are what my other sends are, and you can, depending on what you need, you can adjust the reverb. So it sends the dry signal to the send, and then with the send, all it's doing is giving you the wet signal. So you can adjust the wet signal completely, like volume wise, with using a fruity send, which is really cool. So in this case, I don't remember if I did that, but I'm pretty sure I did. And yeah, so then that was a reverb, and then of course I just have a delay. The delay usually goes like, if you can see on the top right or top left, sorry, and I have it on 4, depending on how long I want it to go out, how long I want it to delay is how long I have it. And again, I don't have it at super wet, so I usually like 10%. The most I'll ever go is maybe 15, and because you want it to be subtle. So yeah, so use a delay for that, and then that's pretty much how I would process those vocals, and I usually get some good results from that. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. That's again, if you have any questions, comment below. I'll be happy to answer them as best I can. And yeah, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and make sure you guys are sharing the track with all your friends and your family, and I appreciate everything. So hopefully I'll get to do more walkthroughs like this. So it was a lot of fun. So thanks again, and I'll see you guys next time.